What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Dark Souls. Today we are Black Iron Tarkus. As you can tell, got the full setup going. Same rings we've been using, just because they're the only ones that allow me to actually run. Otherwise, we just kind of plod ahead. And today we're going to go into the forest, I think. Just because I realized we haven't done that yet. We got a bunch of stuff we have to do before we progress the story any further. So I figure we might as well get around to doing it. As you can see, we've got the Greatsword plus 10. I haven't upgraded the shield at all. But yeah, this is an area you can go to a lot earlier in the game if you want to. In fact, when I'm basically playing through to try to get like a level 40 PvP character, and you're just trying to get through the game as quick as you can to get to PvP. I usually I go this way right away. And I get the first soul we're gonna get, which allows you to get some souls to get the Covenant of Artorias, which allows you to very easily dupe glitch your way to whatever souls you want. Yeah, this is the Darkroot Garden. This may be familiar for some of you if you're paying attention, as we've actually been here before. This is actually, if you head over here, we can actually see down below is the bonfire. That's the lake where we fought the Hydra, and then right over there, I believe that's it, right over there. Yeah, right over there, that's Havel's Tower, where we killed Havel and got his ring. So I'm going to be going through this area right here. Like I said, you can do this very early in the game if you choose to. It's not a very difficult area, at least the part we're going to be doing today isn't. Right here you've got an ambush. If you run past here, you'll actually get attacked by the one right here. So that was embarrassing. Yeah, these guys are not too bad. Pretty much any 100% block shield will deal with them. This guy right here, you can actually aim down. You can hit him before he comes out, and we have diffused that ambush. Up there's a pretty good ring. Spoiler alert, that's a ring. We're going to be getting that at some point. Some free souls over here. And then up here is actually where we would use the Crest of Artorias. I am going to use it. Normally, if you try and open this door, it'll say, you do not have whatever. But if you have the Crest of Artorias, you just kind of pop it in here, and this door will open. We're not going to go in there just yet. This area is actually a little bit harder. So if you're kind of new, I mean, you probably won't have the Crest of Artorias early on anyway, just because it's 20,000 souls. Over here, nice invisible wall, which is going to give us the bonfire for this area. Do I want to pop a humanity? Yeah, sure. We might as well Estus this one up. So I'm thinking after we do this area, we're probably going to head down into the catacombs, just to get the Rite of Kindling, I think. So we can up to plus 20 or 20 Estus flask charges, which is so fucking many. So yeah, we'll go through there in a bit. For now, we're going to head over this way. This is kind of like the forest is kind of divided up into two areas. Right over here, we've got if you go in here and get this, there's an ambush. You can see all the fucking trees. 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 of them. That's just a soul item. I would actually leave it there. And the reason for that is, once you pop this ambush, every time you run past here, they're going to come out. So if you think you might have to come back through here again, I would just leave it alone. Down here, yeah, I know, we'll deal with that in a second. What I would do is follow along this left wall for now. It's going to give you a little nook here. You're going to get ambushed from behind when you run in here. Which, if you're listening, you'll hear it. So, a lot of this, ow, I bit my tongue. A lot of this area is just like little ambushes from those guys. So right here, take that out first. Get yourself the Partisan. Not a terrible weapon, it's okay. I've never really used it much, so obviously we'll have to go into it a little bit. It's kind of like just a spear, basically. But a spear that, really is the R2? Ooh, yeah, I don't like that. It's a spear that has a sweepy attack, which is kind of weird. I'm not a big fan of that. Go back to our great sword since we are the Black Iron Tarkus. Because we're so cool. See, I would stick around here. There's another one of those tree things straight ahead, as you can see. Might as well take him out. Ooh. Oh, there's an item that I didn't know they dropped. Okay, that's cool. That's not relevant at all right now. We'll get into what that does later. Now we have a couple of big enemies to deal with. I'm going to deal with this guy first, right here. These guys are they're not too bad. You're going to want strength weapons. Strength weapons are going to, as you see, destroy them, especially if you're over leveled for this area. I'll switch to a greatsword without the plus 10 just to show you kind of what it does. There's one over here. This will also demonstrate the difference in damage from a high level and a low level weapon. Notice we did 50 this time. So yeah, if you're fighting these guys, you're just going to want to kind of take your time. Easier to dodge. When he does this, very annoying. This actually overburdens you. And it's going to you're not going to be able to roll. We're going to do that. If you're basically naked, that'll just make you mid-roll, I believe. Basically what it's doing is overburdening us. Which is that becomes a real problem if you're facing a bunch of these guys. Oh, ouchies. Now you may notice that none of what he just did there staggered us. That is actually because our armor, the armor we're using, is very heavy armor, as you can tell. If you go, let me get these out of here. If you go in here, you can see, I believe I mentioned this before, we have poise on the upper right. And, you can see pretty much all the light armor is going to have 0 poise. Heavy armor is going to have a lot. Havel's has a ton. Basically, that just means that you can kind of tank your way through hits even without blocking, and you won't be stunned, locked, or knocked out of the animation. So, like, if I was swinging and he hits me, I'll still complete my animation, which is actually really helpful. You're dead. But yeah, if this area, not too difficult. Over here is the worst part. There's a bunch of tree people here. By this shiny. And you can't hit these guys until they're up, so you can trigger them early and then deal with them one at a time, which is how I do it. I wouldn't run in here like a crackhead. There we go. Especially if you don't have a really strong weapon like I do. If you have like an average weapon, yeah. So there's the ambush. We should be able to get 2 for 1. Nope. Got the other one. And when he does that, usually I'll just go ahead and attack. That's a huge open window when he does that. So, as you saw there, we got the Elite Knight armor. Pretty cool armor, actually. I think Elite, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think it's pretty much what, yeah. It's like what Oscar was wearing at the beginning of the game. That's pretty cool. Where is the, oh, is it this one? Yeah, okay. Is that what I was wearing? No. Black iron is what I want, isn't it? Yeah, don't know why I put steel on. Durr. Yeah, and so once you've cleared this area out, if you're human, you're going to come over here. Get these out of the way, you don't have to. And we're going to summon in Witch Beatrice for this fight. I would highly advise summoning her for this fight, just because the boss we're about to deal with is kind of a pain. Speaking of, but do I have a shield that's going to be any good for this? No. So, we're actually going to stop role-playing for now. We're just going to roll like this. You don't need a shield for this fight, I don't think. I guess I'll throw on some... Let's see. For this fight, you're going to want to throw on whatever has the best magic defense you have. So, got something with good magic defense. Probably go with that. Katarina Helm, that's pretty good. I'm just going to go naked because I think it's easier to roll dodge this one. If you have a shield... Oops. A shield. We should have some shields by now. I know Havel's is... Look at that shield. That's fucking amazing. Uses 50 strength, but still great. If you look through here, find whatever shield you have that has the best magic defense. Probably going to be the Crest shield at this point, if you've got it. Otherwise, I think... What is it? Yeah, the Warrior's Round shield does pretty well. In fact, that's exactly the same shield. One's just cooler looking. Yeah, just if you don't want to deal with this, you can get a really high magic defense shield. This boss only does magic damage, so like this would be a perfect setup to go in here with. So we'll go like that. You see the boss up there. I'll kind of show you. The reason you bring Beatrice in this fight is because unless you have ranged attacks, you really can't do a lot to this boss. Pretty much what this boss amounts to is sitting around and waiting for it to land. Which it does eventually land, but it takes its sweet time. It's got 3 or 4 attacks. Just dodge out of the way of them. That's the hardest one I find to dodge. You want to kind of dodge to the left. This one's actually pretty easy. Just use your iframes to get through it. I find it easiest to stay locked onto this boss. Just so you know what it's doing. Oh, okay. I thought that would be... Yeah, so easy to roll. As you can see, she totally destroys this boss. Eventually it's going to do this. Once it comes in and lands, this is when you get to go ham on it. As you can see, it's already... Oh, it's not dead. For some... Yeah, there she goes. Finish it off, Beatrice. After it lands, it'll do that. Does a little AoE explosion, so keep out of the way of that. And you've seen all of its attacks now. Ah, still didn't. There you go. He's dead. So yeah, very easy to dodge. Very easy boss to kill. Pretty much just a waiting game. If you summon Beatrice, she'll pretty much just kill it for you. Let's put our outfit back on, shall we? And the reason I took all my stuff off is because that boss I find a lot easier to deal with when you're able to fast roll. I mean, you could just tank it with the shield. That's not obviously that's always an option, but especially with that 80% magic block shield I had, if I threw on, you know, some... Honestly, we probably could have just thrown on Havel and not even been able to roll and just stood in place. Just stood right there like this until it landed. That probably would have been totally viable, but... Something to test out at a later date, possibly. And up here, your reward is the Watchtower Basement Key, the Divine Ember, and a Homeward Bone. The Watchtower Basement Key, that is actually, if I recall correctly, let me go double check, but... Yeah, so this, that's the, if you do not have the Master Key, this is the item you have to get in order to go face Havel the Rock in the tower, which will also unlock the shortcut that we used earlier. That was close. If I had fallen down there, I would have died. Let's go ahead and use a Homeward Bone to get ourselves back to the bonfire. And you also get the Soul of the Moonlight Butterfly. So, that's fun. Oh, hello. Why is this happening? That's interesting. All the shit's falling that way. Okay. Glitch the Homeward Bone so we don't have to use one. 'Cause we're dirty cheaters. Okay, and that is that area dealt with. So, yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and end it there, honestly. I mean, sorry about that being a short episode, but this is a really... No, there's more we can do, actually. No, never mind. I'm an idiot. I forgot. Durr. Okay. Just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to go ahead and trigger this. It won't trigger until you pick up the item. You can come in here and, you know, deal with them ahead of time if you want. If you really want the item. This isn't too bad at this point. If you came in here like really early game, that's a, you know, they can kill you pretty quick. And this area drops a lot of purple moss. These guys drop purple moss clumps. I think they can drop the purple blooming purple moss, and they can drop the red moss too, or whatever. The one for bleeding. So if you want to come through this area, I would advise doing it before you go down into Blighttown, just so you'll have some, poison removal in case you need it. Right here, you'll notice this tree is wiggling about. And so you come up here, and you hit this tree. And once you've killed this tree, you get a tiny amount of souls, and you open another pathway. Dun 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 dun. Bump, 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 into the area with these assholes. Not really a big deal. They're not terribly difficult. They're cool looking. They're like fucking weird frog people. But yeah, this is kind of like the other area. There's no boss at the end of this, but we come up here, we get another moving tree that we failed to hit. Does this have the same move set if I'm two-handing? It does. That's good. Yeah, so the Greatsword, actually, I think I like its moveset a little bit more than, just because of the stab. I feel like stabs are so effective, like the thrusting damage in this game is so good. I don't think there's anything over here. No. Worth a check. So this area is going to have more of the same enemies. I believe we've got a couple of the big dudes. We also have over here kind of an ambush, per se. If you walk over here to fight this guy, you're going to have a shit ton of these fucking frogs come up. Which, isn't too big of a deal. They're not that difficult. They can kill you pretty quickly if you stand around and let them, so, just block and hit. Ooh. There you go. Deal with them. Heavy armor, always helpful. Ooh, what do they drop? Okay, so they drop green blossoms. That's cool. The green blossom basically increases your stamina regen rate, so come over here, get yourself a Soul of a Proud Knight as a reward for dealing with this. You can look down here into the cool little lake. We don't actually... It'd be cool if you got to go in there and do something, but, it's just a little lake feature. Over here we got another one of our favorite, whatever these guys are called. Forest Guardians, I think, or something to that effect. Ruin his day, and then come on over here. We're going to head up a little bit. There's going to be another enemy up here, so you might want to clear those out before you run up here, lest you be followed and pincer maneuvered. Come on. Black Iron Tarkus hates running. Yeah, this guy right here. You can actually run right by him. It's not a big deal. Since we one-shot them, we'll just kill him. And then this is going to dump us out up here, where we can get the wolf ring. This is the ring we saw earlier. This ring's actually pretty awesome. Especially if you're running like a lower... running like light armor. This boosts your poise. So, if you look at it, you can... Where to go? Right there. You can see our poise would go up to 119. So it's always going to be a flat amount of 40. So, and yes, I did just count to make sure I didn't make shit up. So it's pretty good. So even if you don't have any poise, you can still have 40 poise, which is really nice. And then, as a brave man, we're going to make our jump over here, back to this area, which we already ran through. We're just back over by the bonfire. You don't have to make that jump if you're afraid of jumping. You can run all the way back down. I don't know. It's not a hard jump to make, so I don't see a point in wasting all of our time running back around. And that is the first, what I guess I'll call the Moonlight. Let's call out the Moonlight Forest. That's the first half of the Moonlight Forest. The half of the forest with the Moonlight Butterfly. And the next episode, we're going to journey on through this side, get a couple really cool items, and do some other shit. So, do I have enough to level? I do. I'm going to keep putting stuff into strength. I know I said I'd switch it up, but I want to use some of the cooler shields and weapons, and they all have really high strength requirements, so we're going to keep going that way. But yeah, until next time, I will see. I hope you guys have a good time, and see you on the next episode. Later.